Welcome to Broken to Better. My name is Josh, and this is my journey from 450 plus pounds to healthy. For some context, I want to tell people that are just clicking on this for the first time that in the last 9 months, I have lost 140 pounds. As of today, I am down to 310 pounds. Stop laughing. I know I'm still fat. I've got a long way to go. Actually, I've got about 80 pounds to go to get to my goal weight. But I've done this in 9 months, today being September 27th, 2025. And while I've put some videos out there talking about different topics, I've only given surface level views. I've never really dived into things. And so this video is the first video in a series where I take a deeper dive into certain aspects of this journey so far. So today's video is basically the turning point. But I'm going to say this, I'm going to preface this with a few things. I'm going to be talking about some very personal things here. This is not very easy for me to make, and I hope you bear with me. All of that said, before I can get into what exactly the turning point was, I guess I need to tell you, well, what my life was like and what I was like before this journey. So let's do that. Let's start first with the weight. Now, being 450 pounds or more, you obviously are going to have some mobility issues. And I definitely had some mobility issues. Now, I, again, my fault, but these mobility issues were because I was fat and I refused to see it. However, what I did do is I made the excuse I can't walk for any longer than 5 minutes because I'm getting old and the injury that I sustained when I was 19 is taking effect. I want to preface, I'm not going to tell the story of the injury. It's not germane to this, and I really don't want to relive it. I was not in the military. I was a first responder. I'm just going to leave it at that. What I did do, what I will tell you is that I did have some spinal damage to, most importantly and germane to this conversation, my L2 and L3 vertebrae. I also have some shoulder issues. But other than that, and while I've always lived in pain, other than that, that was really the only thing that got messed up. Mostly. The other stuff just isn't important. Um, so, mobility issues. Yeah, duh. But the problem is in my mind, it wasn't because I weighed 450 pounds that I couldn't mow my lawn for any longer than 5 minutes at a time. It was because of an injury that I sustained that's just finally taken its that's finally beating me. I used to get up multiple times in the middle of the night. I used to call it old man bladder. And this started when I was about 37, 38. I'm now 42. Now, I blame that on just getting older. I completely disregarded the fact that I would drink, on average, anywhere between 10 to 12 Cokes a day. That had nothing to do with it. Another thing that I would do is I would make excuses for, I don't want to go to the store because it's too peoply out there. And while I generally do not like large crowds of people, a grocery store is not a rock concert. I want to talk about some of the struggles that I went through. And this is where it's going to get a little embarrassing. Yes, I said embarrassing. Showers were an ordeal. I couldn't walk or stand up for any longer than 5 minutes at a time. It takes a lot longer to shower yourself, especially when you're really fat. It takes a lot longer than 5 minutes. So, yeah, showers were interesting. Going to the bathroom, not for number one, but the other one. Let's just say when it came time to clean up, that was rather very, very difficult. Not easy to do. And it wasn't because I was just losing my flexibility as I got older. I was refusing to see, hey, you're really, really fat. Maybe you need to work on that. My mindset. Talk a little bit about that. somewhere along the way in life, I got soft mentally. I want to preface everything that I'm about to say with I didn't want to hurt myself. I didn't want to hurt anybody else. I don't think I was clinically depressed. Mildly depressed might be the right word, but I was just waiting to die. I really figured all of those years of just living like a pig had done irreparable damage and I was going to die soon anyway, so just enjoy my way out. That's a very bad mindset to have. This next part I don't like. The moment I knew I had to change. Well, it wasn't a singular moment. It was a combination of events. Now, I'm about to get very personal here. I hope you understand, but it is very germane to this story. The moment I knew something had to change didn't come as a single eureka moment. It was actually several things, and a large part of it I still can't describe, I can't tangibly explain. But one of the things definitely was my stepdad. Now, need to give a little bit of backstory there. My stepdad is really my dad. And what I mean by that is he's the one that really raised me. He came into my life when I was an early teenager. I was not the most welcoming or pleasant person back then for a lot of different reasons. And I put that man through a lot, and he did not deserve any of it. That man absolutely went above and beyond. And I'll never be able to repay him. I am the man that I am today because of him. Hands down, no doubt. At least all the good things about me. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, he became ill. Now, the good news in that is it's not life-threatening yet. The bad news in that is his cognitive ability is his cognitive ability is declining, and it will never be what it used to be. And I'm getting a front row seat to that, and have been for the last 2 years. And so I think that was part of it. The realization that I still have time on this planet if I get it together and act right. I think another moment that I knew something had to change was one of my business trips. I was out in Phoenix, and I was in an elevator. The elevator broke, and I had to climb out. That was, I mean, in the moment it was funny as hell. But looking back on it, I had to work way too hard to climb out of that elevator. I made it out. And I know the jokes, Fatty Mate broke the elevator. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But the other rude awakening was I was on the third floor, just the third floor. And climbing those steps was miserable. Man, was it miserable. And while that should have been a clue right then and there, it took a little time to sink in. Another thing that I want to talk about is this time is very, very different. I've tried to go on diets before, but I failed them all. This time feels different, and for a variety of different reasons. Now, there is a topic that I really haven't discussed in other videos. I'm not doing it in this one. This is going to be one of the last videos that I make in this series, but I just want to preface and put this out there that one of the reasons why I think things are so different this time is because I am learning things about people around me that I'm learning things about the people around me that I didn't know or I didn't see. So the other thing that's different is, and why this time feels different, is time. While I don't think that I've got forever, I also don't think that, you know, I've only got a year left to go. And what I mean by that is, I know that this feels like the last moment I get to do this. I'm healthy enough. Thankfully, I didn't get diabetes. Thankfully, my heart, my cardiovascular health is in relatively good shape. Thankfully, my cholesterol is, if anything, it's actually too low. I will explain that in a later video, I promise. But it is too low. After all those years of bad eating and bad food choices, I was actually in relatively good health. Couple of problems that needed to be adjusted, but nothing that was life threatening and nothing that was the end of the world as I saw it. But I know that if I go back to that path, I should say, that I definitely am going to shorten my life. And so to me, what makes this feel different is that this is my last shot to get this right. And I have made a determination I'm never going back to what I used to be. On that note, I think I've dived down a little bit or deep enough in this video. I've probably got 6 or 7 videos that's going to come in this series, and I hope you watch each one. This one was kind of light. There was some heavy stuff, but I've got some heavier stuff coming. Trust me. But in the meantime, if you're thinking about getting on a journey, and I'm losing the light, if you're thinking about getting on a health journey, a weight loss journey, stop thinking, just do it. That's basically what I did. And if I can do this, if I can lose 140 pounds at 42 in 9 months, you can too. It's not always going to be easy. There's going to be some hard times, but you can do it. On that note, I'm going to get out of here because the light is fading fast. I want to thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.